Welcome, welcome, welcome all to your Amir Shakur Speaks show with your host, Amir Shakur. That'll be me. Today, we're going to open up our conversation in reference to some very troubling breaking news that is going on right now. And most of us woke up this morning to really just a troubling scenario. Global conflict that started in Iran. Started with Iran, I should say. No, let me correct that. It started with Israel, and now it's Israel and Iran, backed by U.S. forces, who have made a declaration of war and preemptive attacks beginning in the wee hours of this morning. So we're gonna have a special guest, and we're gonna talk about this troubling scenario. And before we begin that conversation, I'd like to welcome you to Amir Shakur Speaks with your host, Amir Shakur. That'll be me. And we're broadcasting from the wonderful ABS Communications Studios in the beautiful South Side of Chicago, which, what we're doing is we're trying to bring the best of urban faith, politics, and economics, all done from an inspirational perspective, right? So if you have not done so, please like and subscribe. Tonight's show is sponsored by the Chicago Urban Daily and ACN, which is my own brand, Amir Shakur Speaks News. And it's not my own brand, it's a group of us. We're really wanting to make sure that we bring you the best of information, news, and politics. Again, all done from an inspirational perspectives. So I'm going to introduce my special guest, and he's a guest commentator, and he's no novice to this, Dr. Matt Harrington. And let me, without further delay, let me bring him to the forefront and add him to the stage. Welcome, Dr. Harrington. How are you?
Good evening, Amir. Thank you for having me tonight, especially on this breaking news evening.
What is it? What do we call this? What are we calling this?
The end of time.
Don't say that. Well,
let's see. A year ago, right? I was on that Canadian podcast, and I said this guy will be at war with Iran within this time period, and we are. Mm-hmm. So the thing is that these guys have no real exit plan, and he'll get really bored with this war as soon as they start fighting back, and he'll then turn around and he'll blame the people of Iran for the failure that he didn't have any foresight to follow through. This is wag the dog, man. This is wag the dog.
Understand. Well, let's do this without further delay, so we can kind of get into the nuts and bones of it. We're talking tonight about the situation in Iran, which is escalating into a major conflict today, following a massive joint military operation between the United States and Israel, I should say. According to the Trump administration, they're calling this Operation Economic Fury. Okay, so let's get the man of the hour up and just get you guys a little bit of a visual. So if you're just joining us, please, like I said, feel free to like, share, and if you're on the World Wide Web and you want to come on to YouTube, you can join myself and Dr. Matt Harrington on the World Wide Web by coming into the Amir Shakur Speaks broadcast channel, and feel free to comment. And I'd like to welcome some of our VIPs from the VIP club, Ramona and Beth, and some of the other folks who have joined us, and welcome you guys. And it's always a pleasure to have you. Unfortunately, we're right now we're in very troubling times. So the strike known as Operation Epic Fury and Roaring Lion. Epic Fury would be the Israel counterpart. Epic Fury would be the U.S. counterpart. Roaring Lion is the Israeli counterpart. So the joint operation has two different names. The strikes mark a significant turning point in the ongoing tensions regarding Iran's nuclear missile program. So before myself and Dr. Harrington get into really breaking this thing down, I want to just share a little bit of what it is, the who's, what's, when's, where's, and how's, and just to give everyone a little bit of context. So bear with us. Let's go ahead and bring that context on, and then we'll come back and we'll decipher it down between us. So bear with me. And by the way, Dr. Harrington, we want to definitely talk about your Canada counterpart, because I think that's very well pronounced. I guess we'll start off with Mr. Trump's announcement. Let's start off with that. What do you think about that?
What they did at midnight, basically, because it was sundown.
Yeah, it was wee hours of the morning, like 10, like 2 in the morning.
Baseball cap.
Yeah, well, that's when everybody's asleep and getting into the cookie jar type scenario. But anyway, we'll go ahead and. Oh my God! I can't make this stuff up. Let's go ahead and listen.
Can't make it up, man.
Let's go ahead and listen to the announcement from Mr. Trump in his statement this morning.
United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel.
Back live.
We're going to experience technical difficulties with this show tonight. The internet is going crazy, and I know for a fact that we will. So just bear with us, you guys. And so again, if you're just joining us, the situation in Iran has escalated into a major conflict today, Saturday, February 28th, 2026. And me and Matt, myself and Dr. Harrington, I should say, have guesstimated that this happened in the wee hours of the morning. Not only that we guesstimated, but we are just from basic reports. This known operation is Operation Epic Fury. Hey, Dr. Harrington, I did hear one of the other influencers say it was Operation Epstein Fury, but we want we.
You're right, man. Because all right. My theory was this was all set up. One, he always wanted to go to war. He's going to go do this. He's like a Viking. And I don't mean that in a good way in this sense, because some people are like Viking, Valhalla. Not that bullshit. I'm talking about they'll send them. They send over a shot. They pull back for a while, and then they fake like their negotiations. Then they just go and shoot. But in this case, he sends over the Gerald R. Ford within about 36 hours. He's ready to go. But in that same time, Bill Clinton goes and testifies. The things start heating up about him, and his wife possibly must be called to testify, because who else knows him and has been in all these photos with Epstein? So it's wag the dog. This is what this really is. I mean, he used this thing to go on to the next level of let's change the subject for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, I think it's very important that we notate the who's, what's, when's, where's, and how's. And so basically at approximately 8:15 a.m. Today, local time, U.S. and Israeli forces launched a wide-range aerial campaign involving 200 jets and a barrage of precision missiles. And the targets hit over 500 sites, including the Ministry of Defense, the Atomic Energy headquarters in Tehran, and nuclear facilities in Karak and Qom. I am saying that the political impact, Dr. Harrington, is really, I believe that the U.S. President Donald Trump, not my president, but unofficially, he's, I'm going to say,
he's president of the United
States. Yeah, officially, but unofficially, we'll drop the mic at there. Donald Trump and Israeli officials have reported that the supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei was killed in a strike. But the Israelites, the Iran folks are saying, not Israel, but Iran is actually saying that it's not true.
Actually, I hear that was updated just about 5 minutes ago, just before we aired, because I remember I was upstairs inside the other office, and I came down to make sure that we had a briefing. And yes, the supreme leader was officially killed. It has been reported by Iranian news sources themselves. So it is official. Now, this is where the shit really hits the fan, man, because there is no plan who's going to take over, right? At least on the American side. So what do you see? What do you see really happening now? Boots on the ground?
No, so we're gonna really break that down. I definitely want to take this in a quintessential manner, because I think that it's very important. One of the things is that there's always going to be a succession plan with Iran that we know of, especially a lot of the Islamic and those states, in the Middle East, they are prepared that when their leaders are taken out, the next few days, if not the day of, even before that leader is taken out, they have a succession plan. So, if
they have a succession plan, we have no succession plan.
Oh, we have one, and we need to execute it as soon as possible. Anyway, well, listen, you didn't hear that from me. I don't want to knock at my door. Those guys have been at my door before, and I'm just trying to say, you know me, like, oh my God.
They're worse than the Men in Black.
right. Come in the tinted Yukon, and we need to talk to you, sir. Okay, anyway, praying for the U.S. troops in the Middle East.
Yes,
Okay, Donald Trump, he can run. You can run, but you can't hide. You can run. Iran is not your country. Okay,
that's
well, thank
true.
you for that. We definitely have no we have no argument about that. I
No
was
doubt.
watching.
No.
Hey, listen, the emotions on this issue are all over the place.
Yes.
The content, the country is up in arms right now. What we don't want, let me just say this. I was watching, I'm gonna read this and then we're gonna go back to commentary and then we'll go back
Right.
into the video. I was watching the Agenda Free on YouTube when the message came through at 2 a.m. this morning. Yeah, so it was definitely 2 a.m. So if you're just joining us, we are talking in reference to our discussion tonight is about the situation in Iran, which has escalated into a major, not even a regional conflict, Dr. Harrington. I'm going to say it's going to
No.
escalate very soon, if not already, into a international conflict. This is not a regional conflict. This is an international conflict
Yeah.
following the massive joint operation between the United States and Israel, known as, well, they have two names, which is confusing the hell out of most people: Operation Epic Fury and Roaring Lion. So, when have we seen a military campaign, like, say, for instance, World War II or anything, to where everybody had their own names? I mean, what's going on? Really?
this,
I
yeah,
mean,
this is like War and
what
Peace.
name you want to call it? I like Epstein Fury, but we'll leave
I
that
like
one alone
Epstein.
too.
Epstein Fury is good. Just call it EF from
Epstein,
now on.
yeah, Epstein Fury. I think that'll work for me too.
Yeah.
Well,
Operation Epstein Fury.
let's go ahead and share the screen because I know that we're kind of approaching this in a but this is a very serious
It's
thing.
serious. Yeah.
And
People are getting hurt.
let's go ahead and go ahead. Let's go to live. Let's go to the BBC Live and see some of the reporting. I'm gonna try to see if I can pull it up. We are, because of a lot of the issues going on. We might experience technical difficulties, but I'll try the best that I can to bring it through. So this is live right now, and let's see what we can do here. Bear with me 1 second. Let me try it again. I know for a fact that we're gonna have technical difficulties because they're slowing the internet down. It
Yeah.
happens all the time, especially in times
Especially
of
at work.
conflict. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here we go.
Okay.
Dubai a little earlier after an Iranian strike on the Palm Hotel. And these are live pictures from here in Tel Aviv, where a state of emergency has been declared across Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says there are signs the Iranian supreme leader is gone.
Today, in a very powerful surprise attack, we managed to destroy the compound of the tyrant Khamenei. All indications show that this tyrant is no longer with us as well.
Donald Trump said earlier that major combat operations were underway, and he had this message for the Iranian people.
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
Interesting. I'm really to the point now to whereas, this escalation, first of all, did not involve Congress. First of all, President Trump has no right to use his war powers. So we can talk about the nuts and bolts of it. The proper process would have been to go to Congress. If we were going to summarize this, Dr. Harrington, the proper process would be asking for congressional power by the House majority and the Senate majority leader, who have both called for immediate war powers resolution, because they're arguing that the administration failed to provide the ironclad jurisdiction and a clear picture of why it was necessary to get into this escalation. Now, in the past, the presidents have gone to Congress. They have consulted with the luminaries in D.C., and basically they justified what it was the who's, what's, when's, where's, and why's. But many of us, including myself, believe that President Trump is overstepping his constitutional authority on this one. What do you believe? What's your opinion? I can't. Your voice. Can you hear me? I'll let you go ahead and get it adjusted. I'll let you go ahead and get that adjusted. So go ahead and work on that. So I'm gonna continue talking and then let you go ahead and take care of that. So we're saying that President Trump is really overstepping his constitutional authority on this, and the argument is that this operation is a colossal mistake. Many of the pundits believe that it's a colossal mistake. I believe that it's a colossal mistake, and even with a immediate request to take this effort to the pundits in DC, the administration is not giving a justification for why we needed to do this escalation and what was the emergency and why couldn't that have happened? Why couldn't it have gone through? So when you are Donald Trump is playing with fire. Let's say that, and Iran has attacked regional. Iran attacked Qatar. Iran has attacked regional U.S. affiliates and subsidiaries and even places of military outposts and that sort of thing around the country because they can't attack. So they are going and attacking friendlies to the U.S. They're attacking major U.S.-backed countries. And that's what their challenge is, and that's what they're doing right now. So I want to be clear, if you're just joining us, Iran launched it wasn't Iran. I keep wanting to say Iran, but it's not Iran. The situation in Iran has escalated into a major international conflict today, and between Israel and the United States, because a lot of us in the U.S. Republic have not asked for this escalation. So the immediate retaliation and the response that you're seeing is the launching of waves of ballistic missiles and drones across the Middle East, U.S. bases, so on and so forth. So at least 6 bases housing U.S. troops have been targeted in Iraq, Jordan, Qatar, Kuwait, and the UAE. So I believe that what's going to happen is I think the international powers need to step in. Let's go ahead and are you Dr. Harrington? We'll try to bring you back on now. Okay. Yeah, so I'll let you get that together and then we'll try to take it from there. Give me 1 second. So let's say that the escalation between the United States and Israel is, if you're just joining us, it's a regional and global reaction. The conflict is immediately destabilized surrounding the surrounding area. The Arab states are in arms. Countries like Bahrain and the UAE have reported that the strikes have hit civilian infrastructure. And I don't know if any of you folks were aware, or if you saw the group of, I believe it was 100 young girls in Iran that were struck and killed. I believe it was a school or an institution of some type. So I'm definitely going to see if we can get the footage of that. Were you aware of the, and I can hear you very well, were you aware or did you see any footage of the young girls? Yes. Were
Yeah.
you aware? Yes. Were
can't
you
hear you.
aware? Were you? Can you hear me?
Can
Can
you
you
hear
hear?
me? I can't hear you. Love this segment.
Okay. So let's do this. I'm gonna let you get that together. Can you hear me? All right. Keep keep working at it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
No. See, I can't hear you at all.
Okay.
If I undo this, you could.
Test one. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we got that.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Now that
Yeah.
now that you're together, were you aware? Have you seen any videos of the how the escalation is playing out overseas? Like, say, for instance, in Iran, 100 young girls, believe it was a school of sorts. They were killed in Iran. Did you see that?
I did see some of the response where they're rapid firing across every region there was, which is only going to escalate more because everybody needs to fire back. And again, this wasn't really totally thought out. I mean, everybody knew it was going to happen. It was like the worst ever planned secret in the world, right? You see aircraft carriers coming in, and you know one of two things: you're either going to bluff or you're going to use them. And I think Trump was tired of being called Taco. What do you think?
Well, I definitely want to proceed because I mean, the fatalities are escalating. Over 100 injuries in Israel and no American fatalities. But the crazy thing about it, Dr. Harrington, Mr. Trump has said that he's expecting U.S. fatalities. All the more reason why he should have gotten congressional approval before going into this unnecessary escalation. So let's go ahead and go to a video. Wow, and I'm glad you're back. Let's go ahead and go to a video, and we'll share the video, and then we'll come back and we'll break it down as well. So bear with me 1 second while I bring the video on the screen and add it to the stage.
Middle East. President Trump just posted on Truth Social that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, has been killed during the joint U.S.-Israel attack on Iran. Khamenei was the most powerful figure in Iran, both a political and religious leader. He's been a lifelong adversary of both the U.S. and Israel, and the news of his death could have massive implications, not only for Iran, but for the entire Middle East. I want to bring in our senior national security correspondent, Courtney Cuby. Courtney, I know this is very fresh. This news just coming out. It started with the Israelis and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announcing this really to his country and the world. What more do we know? Because this was a joint strike between the U.S. and Israel.
Yeah, so it does appear that the Israelis were more focused on the leadership, at least in the early stages of this, and the U.S. military was more focused on the military and the security apparatus in Israel. But we do now have a senior U.S. official who's familiar with the matter, who says that the U.S. believes the Ayatollah is dead, and this is based on their communications with the Israelis here. So again, we're still working on more detail. We have, as you said, we've had a number of indicators that this was likely as the day has moved on, including from the Israelis. We had that tremendous reporting from our colleague Kristen Welker and her phone call with President Trump, where he said it seemed like the reports were likely correct about the Ayatollah being dead. But Tom, I don't have to tell you, this would be a tremendous sea change. If and when there is some sort of an official confirmation out of Iran that in fact the 86-year-old Ayatollah was killed in these strikes. And he is not the only individual who has been targeted in this ongoing air campaign in Iran. We know that other senior Iranian officials have also been targeted. We're working on more details about exactly who and whether those strikes were actually successful. U.S. Military strikes have included IRGC, or Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Command and Control, and that could have included senior leaders there as well.
Courtney, stand by for us. This is still a very active military operation. There are missiles and drones flying from both Iran and all over the Middle East right now. I want to get to our chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel. Him and his team have seen what is happening right now in Israel, a large strike. Unclear what it was, right, Richard, whether it was a missile falling or maybe something from the air defense system, but a large black plume of smoke seen over the skies of Tel Aviv tonight.
It was clearly a missile that impacted. It came in its speed. It exploded with a lot of force. Initial reports that several Israelis, perhaps 2 or more, were killed in that strike, not very far from where we are. In general, however,
So let's do this, Dr. Harrington. I think I lost you. Let me remove you. So let's say if you're just joining us, here's the summary table. The Operation Epic Fury is what the U.S. is calling it, started today. And the goal was to topple the Iranian regime and destroy nuclear and missile infrastructures, is what they're saying the goal is. And what we're seeing an escalation starting in the wee hours of this morning. Today being the 28th of February, Saturday. And as you saw the last footage, the supreme leader, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, they're saying is confirmed dead. The retaliation zones look like this: Israel, bases in the United States. We are seeing rapidly developing is the situation across not only this region, but I mean very destabilizing around the world. This is a rapidly developing situation. So, we're monitoring this, Dr. Harrington, for further updates in the status of the Iranian leadership. I don't believe the Ayatollah Khamenei is dead. I want an official report of that.
Yeah. Well, I understand about the fake news.
Yeah. It's been a policy.
I'll go with, 600 bombs dropped on one location. They actually knew the guy might be in it.
Yeah.
And actually admitting to that he's now gone. But you could be right. I mean, everything is sort of like, let's distract somebody. Let's say this is happening, and let's have him come up as like he was God risen again, as Jesus was, but he's no Jesus.
It's been a policy of the Trump administration. I mean, think about it. There was no reason, no rationale, or even no announcement more clearly to even go into this escalation, is what I'm going to call it. And this is characterized by a constitutional clash over war powers. There's no strategic wisdom about destabilizing the Middle East. And how many times in our history, over the course of, let's say, the last 50 years, we can go back 50 years, have we tried to resolve the issues of the Middle East, more specifically the Gaza Strip? And it just doesn't happen. So the strategic wisdom of the Trump administration to think that they can come in with a heavy-handed use of force and that would stop these. I mean, did you see, or did you hear last year, the rationale was that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump were saying that they were going to build a Riviera-style resort in the Persian Gulf. Did you hear about that?
Oh yeah. Up and down up down the strip of Gaza now.
Now, how well do you think that?
There's hotels planned. I mean, let's face it.
How well do you think that the Hamas and some of the regional authorities, the Iranian National, the Republican Army, how well do you think that those folks would let a resort in the Middle East and Gaza be at peace. I can tell you what would happen. They even if it were allowed to be built, the next day, within that week, that thing would be torn down, bumped to the ground. The rationale to build a resort hotel, a resort in that region is for me, it's not ludicrous, it's crazy. And so what you're seeing and I want to turn it back to you, and we'll go to the chat for opinion. But what I believe, this is my opinion, we're seeing the work of crazed Zionists and crazed neocons, is all that I can say. What's your opinion?
Well, empirism,
warmongers.
Yeah, I mean, because these guys are about power and about graft, right? And what's the biggest graft that you can have is during wartime, right? You have to build stuff, you have to make stuff, you have to bid for stuff, and these guys are in every little thing now. And there'll be crypto deals, and they'll be telling people you have to buy it through crypto exchange. Watch, and it'll have to be the Trump crypto exchange because it'll be the most secure. It's the biggest in the world, don't you know?
Right.
We are truly at a very bad point in American history with our 250th anniversary now approaching.
Mm-hmm.
The founders of our country are rolling in their graves collectively as they say, we did not mean for any of this to happen. What the fuck are you thinking? Is what they're looking at us. And, I'm looking at myself saying, what am I going to tell my granddaughter, Amelia? How do we stand up just to stop it for our granddaughter or grandsons or, whatever you have? Because if you do not sort of stand right now, if you do not sort of say, this is pure fashion, this is pure empirism, where they just want to take and dictate and suck the resources dry and take the money. Has anybody heard about, the Venezuelan oil? I mean, that's going into an account in Qatar. Qatar is also behind the deal financing for the Warner Brothers deal that Netflix just had to drop out of. We are now the United States of Qatar. We are not the United States of America. And it started with a $400 million plane.
Why don't let's respond to some of the folks in the chat, and let's see. I'm gonna let you respond to some of the comments. Here you go, Dr. Matt. Go ahead and
Well, you read it, because I can't read it.
Oh, President Trump is playing with fire. So, I don't think you'll get a debate about that.
No.
President Trump is endangering our American troops for nothing. No more, not even a further debate about that. And thank you for the comment and the feedback.
Yeah.
Good. We can. You. Okay. So, you might want to just rephrase that comment so we can understand what that one was. So if you're just joining us, the topic of the moment is the seriousness and the political impact Donald Trump and Israeli officials have escalated. I'm going to say it like this. They have escalated a unnecessary, unofficial war, because it wasn't granted by Congress, but this preemptive strike in Iran has destabilized, as we know, the majority of the Middle East, and we're seeing a growing escalation following a massive joint operation by the United States and Israel, known as Operation Epic Fury, or as Dr. Harrington would say, Operation Epstein Fury. Israel is calling it Epstein Fury. The strikes mark a significant turning point in the tensions regarding Iran's nuclear missile programs. And here's my thing. As we're seeing the news reports, over 200 waves of attacks have been directed towards Israel. And they have this, have you seen this Iron Dome? I guess it was technology that the U.S. gave Israel, and it stopped the bombs from striking into the perimeter. But a few of those missiles have gotten through the Iron Dome, and we're seeing Israeli fatalities primarily targeting Tel Aviv and Jerusalem and the northern regions. So early reports indicated that at least multiple, over a handful of fatalities in Israel, and probably the better part of maybe 100 Israeli injuries at this point. And reports suggest that the Iranian Republican Guard has moved to close to the Strait of Hormuz. Now, one thing that I do want to talk about is the Strait of Hormuz. It's a critical checkpoint for global oil supplies. And guess who's controlling that? Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. So if in fact, which is what's happening now, if they have to shut that down, then that means a good majority of the oil supplies are being shut down. So guess what happened? A good majority of the oil supplies have been shut down because of this huge escalation. And yes, very concerning, huge escalation. Okay, she was saying that we can hear you now, and thank you for letting us know. Yes, he's good. So let's say this, Dr. Harrington. The regional global retaliation has to be immediate because of the level of destabilization in this region. We do not want to see a 9/11 style counterattack in the United States. But what we're doing is we're playing with these countries like Iran and Iraq, and basically these countries, the civilian infrastructure, the Hamas and the Hamases of the world, they partner in a multi-level militaristic standpoint, and they a lot of times carry out a lot of the things that the country doesn't have, the officials and the official military don't have to do, because they believe in the way that these countries work. A lot of these countries, sovereignty means everything. National sovereignty means everything, but they connect their sovereignty with the power of God. So it becomes what does it become? It becomes jihad, right? Jihad, we are going to war because we are going to war for jihad, going to war for Allah, jihadists. And that's what that's all about. So, and to be honest with you, when that mentality strikes and these people are active or inactive or activated, I should say, they don't have anything to lose. No. They will be more than happy to get their life for God. Go ahead.
We have to look at our now weaknesses, right? Our biggest weaknesses are cyber defense, which has been taken down by the Department of Homeland Security and Central Intelligence people like Kelsey Galbert. They could attack through the internet, and they could start causing tremendous havoc. They could start shutting down power stations. They could rev up nuclear facilities where you cannot cool them down. I mean, this will go on. And so the question is, what do we have in place? Because a lot of things are missing now. A lot of these protections that we had, a lot of things are now gone, destroyed because of, remember, Doge and the chainsaw massacre to our basic freedoms and security that has now went through our life like butter in a flame, leaving us dripping and just sad. It's going to be, I just want to know what's going to be tomorrow, right? Because you can't stop. They're firing back. It's not one and done. And what's a week from now? And what's a month from now? Because like anything, you start destroying things, people get hungry. You're creating even more terrorism in the hope of peace. It's insanity. They didn't go to Congress, which is totally against the law. And he's going to say, well, we sort of informed the Gang of Eight because we said it might be coming, but we don't know. That's not informing. That's like saying I might be pregnant and I don't know.
Well, let me say this and let me chime in. Senator Tim Kaine called the operation a colossal mistake, and he alleged that the White House rushed into the strikes to preempt a Senate vote on a war powers. So next week, you asked about what's happening next. So we're hoping that this war powers resolution that was scheduled for next week, and maybe that's why they made the attack, because the resolution was happening in the Senate next week. Maybe that's why they wanted to go ahead and do that. Former Vice President Kamala Harris labeled it Trump's war of choice, explicitly opposing a war regime change strategy because, she believes that it's going to put American lives at risk for an unnecessary gamble. And I do agree with the thought process of Kamala Harris, and I do agree that at this point it does forges an unnecessary gamble. Again, how long, Dr. Harrington? Let me just, before we play a little bit more of the live video, how long has this region that you know of? How long has this region been in uproar, been in turmoil?
I don't know, since the time of Christ. I mean, really. I mean, it's begotten of war after war, of conflict over, one regime over another for some religious, Zionist, or not Zionist, that's the wrong word. Just for some religious zealots is, they're not for any type of democracy. They're not for any type of things. So it gets really. The real question is, when will it end?
Well,
because it's been going on my whole lifetime.
Yeah. Let's get back to a little bit of more of the video report, and then what we're going to do is I really want to. I'm a little bit
worried. Tom, Israel has been able to stop nearly all of the missiles that Iran has been firing. The air defenses, which
correct about the Ayatollah being dead, but Tom, I don't have to tell you, this would be a tremendous sea change, if and when there is some sort of an official confirmation out of Iran that in fact the 86-year-old Ayatollah was killed in these strikes. And he is not the only individual who has been targeted in this ongoing air campaign in Iran. We know that other senior Iranian officials have also been targeted. We're working on more details about exactly who and whether those strikes were actually successful. U.S. Military strikes have included IRGC, or Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Command and Control, and that could have included senior leaders there as well.
Courtney, stand by for us. This is still a very active military operation. There are missiles and drones flying from both Iran and all over the Middle East right now. I want to get to our chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel. Him and his team have seen what is happening right now.
So what I'm clear about is the way forward here, and what it's going to look like, Dr. Harrington, is that, there are a few war hawks in the Democratic Party who have broken rank to support this effort, like John Fetterman from PA, who praised the strikes, claiming that Trump was doing right and necessary to produce real peace. Well, I'm going to disagree with Senator Fetterman because, again, we know for a fact that this region has been unstable since the beginning, for as long as we can know. Probably, let's go BC, before Christ.
Before Christ, okay.
Let's just say BC, okay? But if you want to go into
my relative Saint Arnold, there you go.
I mean, if you want to go into the region era, the eras we are saying now, I should say, then we can say that within the past 50 years, I mean, how many peace deals were brokered, and within a week to a month were broken. So, I mean, this is, what's right is it's necessary to produce real peace the right way, not an escalation of not just the forces in the Middle East, but to unstabilize the world. So I'm not in agreement with John Fetterman, or I am not in agreement with even a lot of these neocons, warmongers, whoever's supporting this decisive action. It has nothing to do with national security. No. And to be honest with you, Donald Trump probably could have requested a full classified briefing for Congress, and most likely he probably would have gotten to go ahead to do a limited escalation. But what I'm saying is that, I'm in agreement with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She also voiced opinion, calling the escalation heartbreaking and a betrayal of the movement's goal to end foreign entanglements. And, what do you think about that? When President Trump came aboard this last time when he was elected, his campaign was, we were going to get out of foreign wars. We were going to end foreign entanglements. And I don't see that. I see him doing just the opposite of that. What do you think?
That's all he wants. He loves to play this game. He thinks it's a game. He really does. He goes out there and thinks he's shooting stuff up, and his Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, the alcoholic, is just as much into cosplay as this, Captain Crunch president that we have. But the real problem that I see is that nobody thinks about the next day. These guys are going to be in it for a very short time. They're going to say mission accomplished, like George Bush did on top of an aircraft carrier, and left the people dangling, and then blame them for the problem that he started. I point out Afghanistan. He made the deal that we had to get out at this time, right? Shortly after his election. Or non-election, I should say, when he was unelected and my cousin Joe got in. But the problem is that Joe had to follow through with what this guy signed instead of saying, hey, we don't really have this totally planned out, but he rushed it in. But he only had about a month and a half from when he got into office to when that thing happened. And that was on Trump. That, he likes to say, oh, Joe Biden. I'm like, Biden had to follow what you signed to make this deal work. And who put the Taliban in charge? Who brought the Taliban into the White House? It wasn't my cousin Joe. It was fucking the orange clown who's now on every crypto thing that he wants to do. And is what? He's getting a coin, a dollar coin to celebrate the 250 year. Ha!
Well, I'm gonna say this to you, and then I definitely, we know we've worked on presidential campaigns together, you and I, and from someone who's coming from the former president of the United States of America, a relative, which you are, Joe Biden's cousin. I think that it is critical to say that we have to continue standing strong. We have to continue denouncing this escalation, and we have to be blunt. And we're saying, I am opposed to this war. We are calling for these democratic or these leftist luminaries, the democratic leadership in DC, to get your head out of the sand. What are you doing? Why is this man being allowed to do what he's doing unchecked? This is not America first, and this progressive escalation into the Middle East is only going to bring us more harm. It's going to bring us more destabilization at a point when we were building under Joe Biden. We were nation building like never before. What do you think about that?
This is all a setup overall to call a national emergency for the 26 midterm elections. He's going to say there's a terrorist threat, great terrorist threat to any and all polling areas or some sort of mass things that they can't really lock down. So we're going to have to suspend all elections. until this threat is assessed. That's where this wants to go. He has a memo out saying how he was going to try to stop on some sort of national threat, hence the war, hence terrorism, hence we don't have enough people. We're trying to close the borders. If people can't see 5 steps ahead of what this guy's doing behind the scene with Steve Bannon and Stephen Miller, the junior Himmler of this movement of the Red Hats, then you're walking with your head in your ass. And the world is dangerous because you are asleep.
I love that. Let's say what I'm going to do is I'm going to yield, and we're getting ready to do the sign off, but I want you to take the next 2 to 3 minutes to talk about everything you're doing, any project, anything that you're doing, how people can reach you. Just give everyone the nuts and bolts of what it is that you're up to right now.
Sure. Well, I want to say a great mentor of ours, Amir knows him, and I knew him very well. The Reverend Jesse Jackson passed. And just before Reverend Jesse Jackson, him and I worked together on the act to get serialization of ammunition. So when a child is hit and killed with a bullet, those serial numbers can be placed into a database, and within a few seconds, we'll know where it was bought, when it was bought, and most of all, who bought that bullet. Unless you believe in magical elves and gnomes, somebody bought it, somebody loaded it, somebody fired it. We need to connect those dots, and we can't. And Reverend Jackson worked with me to work with my cousin Joe to try to get this going. And in honor of the Henry Pratt anniversary that was coming up prior to his death, we had State Rep Anna Stava in Illinois reintroduce the Serialization of Ammunition Act, HB 4414, in honor of the Henry Pratt victims who were killed by a handgun, because not everybody's killed by an AR, right? So with that and Reverend Jackson's passing, I ask you for your help to call up state representatives, even in your state, and say, represent what Illinois is trying to do. Because it's not just about making a safe walk through a community, it's about making a safe community. The blood has been spilled within our streets that can fill the Mississippi, and the tears of mothers can fill Lake Michigan. When is enough enough? Since we started this program, 50,000 people have been shot alone in Illinois, and almost 30,000 people have been killed. Is that not enough? 44,000 people each and every year are shot and killed. Half are by suicide. Again, is that not enough? Just give me a number, I ask the politicians, of what does the body count need to be? And then I'll come back and ask, is that enough? Because the mothers who are crying deserve more for their babies that are dying each and every day. The politicians who do not care, who only show up with crocodile tears and thoughts and prayers. I ask your help to get Illinois HB 4414 passed. Call up JP Pritzker and honor Reverend Jackson with that. I thank you.
And we do know for a fact that Dr. Harrington this has been a mission since I've known him for the better part of 10 years, almost 10 years now. So, and we definitely want to advance that mission. I'm going to go to a couple of remaining questions, and then I'm going to do my closeout. And I'm going to ask you a question, but let's go ahead and let's go to the questions because they're stacking up. Okay. Yeah, we know that we definitely corrected the mistake. Are they willing to die for what they believe, or they have nothing to lose? Yeah, we're talking about the Iranians. The mentality of people in the Middle East is not like an American mentality, because they will fight and die and give their life for a cause. Just look up the word jihad, and it's very telling. It'll tell you exactly what you need to know, right? Right. And here's the thing. This is not an indictment of them versus us, that we're better than them or anything like that. What we're saying is that their level of causation is different than ours. Dr. Harrington, USA is bullies. They like to strong arm each other. They like to strong arm other countries. Okay, yeah, we get it. So
yes, I agree with that.
In the name of nation building, the United States has taken a lot of unnecessary liberties in other countries, and the United States cannot say it hasn't had its hand historically in the destabilization of multiple countries and multiple leaders' demise around the world. I mean, it's we know the status quo. We know of several operations, even as of the last 20 years, including Afghanistan, including the operation in the Persian Gulf, including, who was Bin Laden trained by, right? He was trained by the CIA. They were given weapons and they were babies of the CIA till the breach was that their mentality was not our mentality. Their fight wasn't our fight, and they realized that, and that's when the turn was. But again, the Bin Ladens were trained by the CIA. Chop that down. In the Middle East has had conflict for thousands of years. Yep, say that again. Thank you, Dr. Harrington, for your comments and perspective.
Thank you.
I will say that we are doing a project called The Advocate, and we'll see how we can nationalize that, and that has to be opened up rather sooner than later. I know it's my fault. I do take all, but please bear with me, and I appreciate your patience, Dr. Harrington. So we'll get to The Advocate. Now it's about influence. In a 2026 world, we have to be able to stop a lot of these twisted narratives that are coming from Fox News or coming from some of these, blue dog or red dog or yellow dog journalism, to whereas, they say and do what anything. And what is the quote? If you tell a lie long enough, it becomes what? The truth.
Yeah.
If you tell a lie long enough, and this is a policy of the Trump administration. So as the sign off is, and I appreciate everyone who's joining us in the World Wide Web. We appreciate you, Dr. Harrington. And before I sign off, how do they reach you? How do people reach you? Because we need to say that again. How do they reach you?
Well, if you're going to reach me on Facebook, Dr. Matt Harrington. You can reach me there. You can also find it on Facebook, Lines for Lives. That's LINES, the number 4, LIVES. Lines for Lives. Because we got to trace back those bullets, folks, to make sure our children are safe.
Yeah. So as I sign off, the strikes of February 2026, guys, mark the definitive end of strategic patience. We're not seeing the Barack Obama instituted policies in Iran or even the Biden level strategic patience policies of the era. And now we're seeing the collapse of nearly 2 decades, y'all, of nuclear diplomacy, 2 decades going out the door overnight by shifting of containment to a direct attempt at disarming the Islamic Republic's leadership and military power. The United States and Israel should be ashamed of themselves. I'm going to say this. This is my opinion, because they have initiated a period as of this morning of profound uncertainty. They have destabilized 20 years of economic policy in the region overnight. Whether this leads to a domestic uprising within Iran or a protracted regional prolonged escalation, but the geopolitical order of the Middle East has been irrevocably shattered as of this wee hours of this morning of February 28th. And now the international community has to face the most volatile security crisis of the last decade, possibly of the 21st century. what I would suggest to Congress, get it in check, get it in order, and activate. Check this president. Take away his powers, and definitely take away the football. You know what the football is? You know what the football is, Dr. Harrington?
Yeah, I do
Nuclear
know what
buttons, the nuclear briefcase.
that nowhere near that thing.
Take it away from him. Take it away from J.D. Vance and all of these war hawks. And we have to check their powers, and we have to do that decisively. Let's support decisive action to end this ongoing escalation, and let's look at ways to produce real peace in the Middle East. That's all I have to say. I appreciate you coming on, and I want to talk to you about coming down to me to the UN. I was a member of the United Nations, or maybe you don't know, but I think we need to conquer that peace again. I left because a lot of the diplomats were so high level. It's just I couldn't do the street level and the ground level work that I'm used to doing there. So but now it's very necessary that we get back into those circles and intermingle with the leadership, And again, I would suggest for those who are watching at home and who will watch, let's do this. Write your congressman, call your congressional office, and let them know that we need a strategic checking of the balances of this Trump administration's. We need that war powers resolution passed. Call them now. Call them tomorrow. Don't even wait. Leave a message. Then try again tomorrow. That's what I suggest we do. And obviously the protests are fine, but we need decisive action. All right.
Anybody else? Pick up a clipboard and start running for office if you want to make a change. Don't sit on the couch. That doesn't get it done.
Yeah. Well, let's keep watching the news. Keep me and Dr. Harrington in the loop if you guys have anything. And listen, let's keep praying for the United States of America because we need it, y'all. Good night and good luck, y'all. Thank you.
Good night, my friend. Good night.